What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? 5 things for you here on a game day, week 1, Chiefs versus Chargers. Welcome into 5 things, where we give you 5 different things that we are looking for. The guys from the KC Laboratory. I'll have something for you here at Batchelder Family Farms. Benny is going to be giving you his picks of the week, and we'll wrap it up with only weird games. Those fellas giving you what they are watching for today. But I'm out here at Batchelder Family Farms, the proud partner of this here program, and let me tell you, we got some really great stuff going on at Batchelder Family Farms. If you don't know, we have a tailgate pack in partnership with Batchelder Family Farms. $100 tailgate pack, get you 2 pounds of ground beef, bison breakfast sausage, spicy bison brats, those are a banger, 2 packs of those, bison summer sausage, it's insane. Bison Tatanka Slims, incredible name, and 2 ounces of bison old timer, 2 packs of those. $100 tailgate pack gets you that. The $200 tailgate pack, just double it. Just double it. Buy local, support them here at Batchelder Family Farms out here in Belton, Missouri. 2810 South Prospect Avenue in Belton. You can find them out here at the store where I'm at right now, out here in the farm store. I don't usually work behind the counter, though. You won't find me behind the counter, but they'll get you set up 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wednesday to Saturday. You can get all of the farm fresh products that you love. Let's get it 5 things started. The KC Laboratory, guys.
Thanks, Tuck. Appreciate you. We're excited to be here to give you 2 things to watch here at KC Sports Network. We're giving you both sides of the football here. I, of course, am with Matthew Lane. Matty, how we feeling today?
Listen, we're doing good. We're excited here. Tuck's hanging out on the farm with some bison. We're ready here. We're coming in at you guys with the 5 most important things for the Chiefs' opening game against the Los Angeles Chargers. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I am very excited for this game. Very excited for this season. There's just an energy about this season that I'm really looking forward to. And I think one of the big things that I'm paying attention to, of course, I mean, why are we surprised? Patrick LeVon Mahomes. Look, like last year was an interesting season. Last couple of years, like the Chiefs have won a lot of Super Bowls the last, 2 of the last 3 seasons. They've made it to the Super Bowl the last 3. But that's not to say that the offense has always been as exciting to watch. It's not been not been easy to say that, like, hey, like this offense is one of the best in football. But it does feel like the vibe around this team, the desire to get back to being an offense forward team, an explosive offense, a creative offense. All those things seem to be returning to Kansas City. That's the vibe for the entirety of the offseason. And it, of course, starts with the best player on the planet, Patrick LeVon Mahomes, and his desire to get all those things back into the offense.
No, absolutely. And we can talk in a second about things that we want to see from him and the supporting casts around him that might help him do better. But realistically, I think it's just like a confidence thing, right? We all watched last year, and it wasn't that Mahomes was bad at any point in time, but he wasn't playing in the same rhythm. He wasn't playing just with the same confidence that he typically does. And I don't mean just from being an aggressive passer, but you could just tell that whether it was the pressure of trying to win all these games, whether it was the pressure of having to overcome some obstacles with the way the team was built or how they were playing, he just never looked comfortable. He never looked as confident in what was going on around him or his own play. And it's only been the preseason so far, but if that final preseason game against the Chicago Bears was any indication of the mindset of him or this team, and that's like the offense going into the year, it might be coming back a little bit. There was just the comfort. There was that rhythm. He was back into just like looking like himself with his mannerisms. He was back to himself, taking deeper drops, looking more comfortable behind this offensive line that we have. And again, 1 quarter of a preseason game is hardly enough to base an entire judgment around. But I think that's the number 1 thing I want to see is just, does he look comfortable again out there on the field, or does he look like he's already starting to press and try to make up for anticipated shortcomings elsewhere on the team, like we've kind of seen the past couple seasons?
I'm curious to see what kind of envelopes he pushes offensively, right? Because I think he's made such good decisions with the football over the last few years. He's been very protective of the ball. But when he, I think in past years, we talked about like the selective aggression of him, right? Like where he'll be selectively aggressive when he needs to, when he feels he needs to. But there's been so much ball protection kind of in this offense over the last couple of years because they've had so much trust in the defense. And not to say that they shouldn't, because Steve Spagnuolo is a wizard and they've got incredible, they still have good talent on the defensive side of the ball. But I'm just curious to see where, like you said, like how judicious he is with that aggression and how aggressive he is. Like, because I feel like even when he's historically been aggressive, he's made good decisions. He's protected the football well for the most part over the course of his career. And he's got the talent to fit a ball the way that Josh Allen does, the way that a peak Aaron Rodgers does. We've seen him do it before. And now I'm just kind of curious to see, like, is there a ramp up period to this? Is there a line that he tries to find during the season? Or is it just, hey, I'm going to go out and rip it with confidence and I'm going to go do the Patrick Mahomes things that I always do? That's like a big question, I think, that overarches like this game and just like the rest of the season moving forward, I think, when it comes to his aggression.
And I think we might be able to get a pretty good indication of where the entire offense is trending, but more so wherever this offense goes, it's because Patrick Mahomes is taking them there,
Always
right?
is.
And
Yep.
there's parts around him that help and like assist him in doing that or kind of limit what the ultimate upside can be, like where he can take them. And so I think we might get a pretty good indication here early on. Do the Chiefs feel comfortable? And by Chiefs, I by proxy, I also mean Patrick Mahomes. Do they feel comfortable getting 5 receivers out into the patterns? Do they feel comfortable calling stuff that's more true 5-7 step drop back concepts and letting Mahomes actually work all the way through them? Or is he trying to shorten his drops? Is he trying to get the ball out as fast as he can? Is he a little timid when he gets to the back of his drop and just hanging out back there? And listen, Patrick Mahomes at his best, that 7 kind of becomes like an 8 or 9 step drop. He'll drift a little bit. He's okay with that. He hasn't felt comfortable in doing that. And I know in the back of our minds, we all want to scream, that's better football to stay in tighter, but that's not where he's played his best. He's at his best when he feels comfortable enough to drift a little bit farther back and then try to create or make these ridiculously long throws from a couple yards deeper in the pocket because he has the arm talent to do so. So I do think we'll get an indication on some of that stuff early, just how comfortable, how much confidence does he have in the rest of the team around him. And I do think that will directly lead into us either seeing a more conservative, trying to be hyper efficient Mahomes like we got the last 2 years, or maybe a guy that's going to have a little bit more confidence in himself and his team. And then you'll start to see the ball push downfield. Now, it's week 1. Am I saying it's going to be back to the 2019 or I guess 2018 Chiefs where it's, 4 verts every single play? No, probably not, but we might see a few more passes ripped to the 10, 15-yard range. We might see him challenge some tighter windows over the middle of the field or some corner routes and just areas that we haven't seen the Chiefs go after very much the past 2 seasons. There just seems to be lacking a confidence in the receivers, the offensive line, and I think that has shown up in inconsistent play from Mahomes, whether it's shorting his steps on his throws, trying to rush his release, overstepping at times, and then overthrowing Worthy downfield. I think you could tell he's been uncomfortable. Now, I really want to see the comfortable Mahomes come back, and then we might see him get back into that aggressive mode where he looks like the best quarterback week in and week out, not just in the biggest games when it matters.
And I think lost in the Super Bowl loss last year is you saw a hyper aggressive Mahomes. You saw him pushing the ball down the field, sometimes out of desperation, but you saw how good he was at doing it at the end of that game where he was letting it rip and letting it fly and good things were happening down the field. And that's something I just kind of go back to is like, it's all in there and we've seen it. And like, I think there's even a more advanced, developed, growing version of Patrick Mahomes as he ages to the other side of his career. That I think you're going to see him, comfortable and confident pushing down the field and fitting in tight windows. I think you saw a glimpse of that in that Eagles game, even though there was a lot of terrible things going on around it during that game. There was still some bright moments of him being aggressive, more aggressive than he had been in 2 years, and that was fun to watch. On the defensive side of the ball, I think there's big questions around this team. Tershawn Wharton's gone, and this team doesn't have a greatly known pass rusher outside of Chris Jones on their team. There's some interesting pieces. There's some, interesting players that now have an opportunity to take a step. But ultimately, there's Chris Jones and a lot of question marks. And I think this is going to be our first chance in our first game to get an idea of what the Chiefs pass rush will look like without a Tershawn Wharton and with some of these new faces and players like Charles Omenihu getting an opportunity to step up and make big plays. So I'm quite fascinated to see what we're going to get out of this pass rush, Maddie.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple different ways to look at it. So I think starting with the Chris Jones supporting cast, so to speak, the rest of that defensive line, because we know Chris Jones is great. Whether or not he's maybe a half step behind what he used to be in his prime at this point in time as he's getting a little bit older in his career can be up for debate, but he's still really good. He's still one of the three best interior defensive linemen in the NFL, probably one of the best two pass rushers on the interior in the NFL. He's got that. And so he can get his. He's going to be able to get pressure. He's going to be able to win whether they line him up over the offensive tackle, whether they line him up on the interior. He's going to get pressure, but who's going to help him? When the Chargers are trying to take him away, is George Karlaftis. We keep saying we're waiting for him to take that next step, and he keeps producing double-digit sack seasons, so it feels silly to say. But is he ready to take that next step where he's a threat to win one-on-one and win quickly and provide that kind of like secondary true pass set kind of pressure? Or is it going to be a mixture of maybe it's Omenihu this play, Dana this play, it's Spags blitzing? Who else is going to provide that like specific one-on-one pressure to help alleviate it off of Chris Jones doing everything? The past couple seasons, we haven't really seen that, right? Tershawn Wharton was good at that in the first half of last year, and he was still good down the stretch. But I think even that kind of efficiency waned a little bit. It's been a minute since the Chiefs have had somebody to legitimately align with Chris Jones that teams had to worry about winning a specific one-on-one matchup. Can somebody like that emerge this season to kind of help that pass rush not be so reliant on the blitz or bringing more than four guys?
It's going to be a big question. I think there's a lot to sort out, right? There is just a ton to sort out with this group and who takes that step, who gets the opportunity. And like, I know this is weird to be saying something about like this with George Karlaftis, right? Like George Karlaftis is a guy that got paid significantly this offseason. And I think the Chiefs view him as an ascending player. And the hope is that he is going to be able to provide some pass rush juice off of the edge, right? Like that is one of the hopes, is that he takes a step and continues to grow. And there's some young players with the Omar Norman Lott, who, like, I mean, he's playing at a heavier pace or heavier weights. Like, we'll see how that factors into things. And then you've got Ashton Gelati as well. Like, you're hoping to find as a kind of a role-playing secondary rusher as well, like a high-effort guy that's going to help clean some stuff up. But I'm curious to see what the totality of this rush looks like, the group as a whole, right? How does Chris Jones look this year? And some of his his best seasons, I think, were the complete versions of him that was playing really good complementary football. Like, yes, go and win those matchups and find some opportunities, but have some control to your rush. Don't get too far out of your gap. Don't get too far up the field and wash yourselves out. How does this complete rush look? And do other players get better as a result of what Chris does this season too? Like, I think that's a big question as well.
Oh, absolutely. And like another avenue to make this a little bit more game specific too, that I kind of wanted to like hone in on, is the Chargers are going to be starting Trey Pipkins, and Chiefs fans over the years might be very familiar with that name because the Chiefs have played against him a fair amount of times, whether it's as a design starter or him stepping in for injured players, and it's very rarely gone well for the Chargers. The Chiefs and a lot of teams in the NFL have had success rushing over Trey Pipkins, who's going to be playing right tackle in this game. And so last year we saw the Chiefs, when they got matchups, especially at tackle that they had no problems flexing Chris Jones out and putting him at defensive end on 3rd and longs on these true passing downs. So whether it's Chris Jones, whether it's George Karlaftis, Mike Dana, whoever it may be, just do they have their fish? Have they found the guy they want to attack every single time? And are they going to be able to make them pay? I imagine if Chris Jones is lined up over Pipkins over that right tackle, you're going to get a lot of slides that direction, a lot of tight ends, running backs chipping or staying into block. But when it's not Chris Jones, can the Chargers afford to send help for Pipkins against these other defenders or not? So even beyond this just being are you going to be a season-long complimentary rusher who in this particular game can be a very gettable offensive tackle enough to make that matter? And I mean, ultimately, can the Chiefs make them pay for having to help against Chris Jones somewhere else along the defensive line?
There's opportunity there with this offensive line the Chiefs are going to be playing, and hopefully they're able to take advantage of it. And hope the game script gives us some opportunities to see this pass rush pinning their ears back as the Chiefs are scoring a lot of points. That's the hope, right? Patrick Mahomes getting aggressive down the field, scoring points, and then this pass rush getting an opportunity to shine. All right, and you know what, Chiefs fans, one of you might have an opportunity to shine. Calling all Chiefs fans, you could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pre-game coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
Shop Chiefs tickets and more with no fees. Plus, save big with code KCSN at ticketsforless.com, the official ticket provider of KC Sports Network.
What's up, guys? I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network, and I'm here to talk to Kansas City businesses. If you rely on technology, you need an IT support team that's not just another vendor, but a true IT partner. That's why I want to introduce you to my friend and neighbor, KJ Miller. He is a VCIO at ThrottleNet, the Midwest's highest rated and most reviewed IT support company. They've been in business for more than 25 years, helping companies stay secure, productive, and ahead of the curve. They aren't just IT support, but they provide data security, IT strategy, and cloud software services. They do it all, and their reviews show they do it better than anyone else. So if you want to hear about how ThrottleNet can help your local business, join the conversation with myself, KJ Miller from ThrottleNet, and our resident genius from KC Sports Network when it comes to IT, at least as he's affectionately known by us, Mr. Craig Stout. Click the link in the description to hear how ThrottleNet can help you.
I'm Brett Goodwin, one of the owners of The Learning Tree. The Learning Tree is a neighborhood toy store in Prairie Village, Kansas. This has been here in this location since 2000s, and my husband Alan and I purchased the store in 2023. Alan and I grew up in families where we've always wanted to have a business together. Alan grew up, for instance, his parents had a jewelry store. I worked in a local toy store here in Prairie Village when I was growing up. When this opportunity happened in 2023, we knew right away we wanted to contact them and pursue the store. We wouldn't have been able to get the store without the team at Emprise Bank. From the day we contacted them, they knew what we needed to do, which was very helpful. I would absolutely recommend the team at Emprise Bank to anyone looking to secure a business. We worked with Emprise from day one. They were extremely helpful. They were always great resources. We talk to them frequently. They know the area. They're very friendly. We know who we're going to talk with, and they know what we need to do. We hope we'll see you at the Learning Tree.
Welcome back into 5 Things here on KC Sports Network. I'm Tucker Franklin. I got to give you my beef of the week. Beef of the week, sponsored by Batchelder Family Farms. Look, it's really easy to look at this game and focus on one thing. And the one thing that I'm looking for, pick number 32, Joshua Simmons. I got to see what Joshua Simmons can do, folks. I'm ready to see it. The Chiefs have had a revolving door at left tackle. They've still won Super Bowls, but hey, they need that sturdy stud that they can trust on that left tackle position. And boy, howdy, has Josh Simmons looked that part so far. We've only seen him in some limited snaps in the preseason. That's fine. He's getting the starter treatment. Came into camp. Looked like there was going to be a battle for left tackle. There wasn't. People are already measuring his gold jacket size, allegedly. I don't know if that's true. But he has played to the best of his ability in the limited times we have seen him. And that's a great positive. Josh Simmons is a great story when you think about it. Picked at number 32, probably should have been picked in the top 10 if he didn't have his torn patellar injury. He's recovering insanely quick from that, by the way. We don't talk about that very much, but he's recovered insanely quick from that injury that takes guys, especially guys of his size, a long time to recover for. He has not missed a beat. Came into training camp, won that job immediately. There was no competition. Jalen Moore was brought in. There was no competition. Best case scenario for Josh Simmons in this regard. And I cannot wait to see him against a pass rush, that isn't the most stout pass rush, right? This isn't going to be the pass rush that they're going to have against the Giants or they'll see against the Eagles. But I think this is a good first test for Josh Simmons. I know there's a little bit of issues with the field conditions. There was some last year against the Eagles. We'll see how those materialize. I was a little worried about rushing him out there too early and putting him on this field, but there's been no indication that he's even hampered even a little bit by this knee injury. My beef of the week's got to be the beef up front. It's got to be Joshua Simmons. I got to see what he can do in a full game. We've just seen these limited reps in the preseason, as you'd expect, but I want to see a full game of Joshua Simmons absolutely dirt napping dudes, absolutely burying dudes out here, protecting Patrick Mahomes' blindside and letting Patrick Mahomes eat, letting the big dog eat. I want to see the big dog eat. I want to see Joshua Simmons eat. That's the beef for the week, presented by Batchelder Family Farms. Again, come on out here. I'm out here at Batchelder Family Farms. You should be out here too. 2810 South Prospect in Belton, Missouri. Come out here to the farm store. They'll get you set up. Brad will get you set up. Jenna will get you set up. We got you set up here. Now let's, you know what? Let's get some picks. I think it's time to get some picks. Benny is here. Ben Heisler. He's going to give you your best bets for this weekend. Benny, take it away, my friend.
Tucker, appreciate you, sir. What is going on, everybody? As you said, I'm Benny Heis, KCSN betting analyst. We got some thoughts on the Chiefs and the Chargers from a betting perspective coming up in just a second. Go over the latest line movement, give you my favorite play and favorite prop as well. But also want to use this as an opportunity to mention that if you are on the Missouri side, I know you've been waiting. I know you've been eagerly anticipating the time. I have to tell you the wait almost over. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, finally coming to the Show Me State. Best part is you don't have to wait until December 1st to actually get started. You can sign up right now. When we go live, new Missouri customers are going to get $300 in bonus bets for placing just a $5 bet. You get all the live game betting that you get from DraftKings, the things that you expect, the lightning fast payouts, so many different ways to play. You can do it from your phone, your mobile device, wherever you are, you can take it with you. Here's what you need to know, okay? Let's talk Chiefs. Let's talk Chargers. We got the season opener here on Friday night. Chiefs currently a 3-point favorite with the line slightly juiced at -115 odds over at DK Sportsbook. Saw this line go to 3.5 for a bit and then back down to 3. Total right now is sitting at 46.5, and it's actually slightly up from earlier this week when we were looking at it at 45.5. So a couple ways I'm looking about this one. The first is that I'm not concerned about this move up to 46.5. As I mentioned earlier in the week, still like the under, liked it at 45.5. You go back, these last 3 games, particularly between the Chiefs and the Chargers, have all been low-scoring affairs. Combine those numbers together, you're averaging only a total of 29.3 points. Also dealing with a very suspect run surface in Brazil. You got both teams missing key offensive playmakers. Rashee Rice, obviously, for Kansas City. Rashawn Slater on the offensive line for LA. The Chargers still trying to figure out what their running situation is going to be. Is it going to be the first-round rookie running back, Omarion Hampton? Najee Harris is apparently going to get the start. So they're still trying to figure out what that identity is going to be, other than the fact that they're probably going to do some ground and pound, which leads me to a prop that I really like this week for Chiefs and Chargers. Give me Justin Herbert to go over 3.5 rushing attempts over on DraftKings Sportsbook. It's a bit juicy, -141 odds, but there's a reason for it. The reason that we're starting to see this line move, the sample size fits the bill here. Herbert's cleared this number in 6 of 8 career games against Kansas City. It's week 1 of the NFL season. This is likely the healthiest that he'll be all season. Always feels like Herbert is trying to fight back some injuries. We mentioned the concerns at running back for LA. They're just not quite sure what the answer is going to be. But either way, Herbert's not afraid to scamper where there's pressure. And we know that the Chiefs are going to be able to send some guys against the Chargers offensive line as they're missing their stud left tackle. So I like the over 3.5 on his rushing attempts. You can also find it 4+ rushing attempts at DK for this matchup for Justin Herbert. Again, if you're going to check this out over on DraftKings Sportsbook, you can download the app right now, use the code KCSN, and when we are live on December 1st, that $5 bet is going to turn into a $300 play in bonus bets. Again, code KCSN in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Remember, if you have a gambling problem, be sure to call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 plus and physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. The bonus bets expire 7 days after they're issued. Excludes those customers, though, who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. All the terms available at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Good luck this week. May all of your best bets hit, and let's keep this going with the only weird games, guys. Fellas, keep it rolling. It's all yours.
We got one thing from 2/3 of Only Weird Games here with you, Joshua Briscoe and Seth Kaiser. Nate Taylor is buried under a mountain of Brazilian steak at this point, so we'll catch up with him again on Tuesday. Seth, there's a very obvious void, a secondary void in the Chiefs wide receiver room as well. Obviously, Rashee Rice is out for the first 6 weeks. Jalen Royals has been ruled out for this game. it means that that ball's got to go somewhere. Obviously, they've done this without Rashee Rice for almost all of last season. But where do you look now when you're looking at the guys that might be most in line to step up for the Chiefs offense?
For me, the guy I'm keeping the closest eye on is easily Xavier Worthy. He developed as the year went along last year. Early on, he got thrust into a huge role when Brown got hurt and then Rice got hurt. They tried to kind of treat him like a wide receiver one. He wasn't ready for it. You could see that midseason. They made the trade for DeAndre Hopkins, allowed his role to be reduced a little. And then they just kind of gradually ramped him up as the year went along. What I really appreciated was that Worthy was able to take on a lot of the quick game stuff that had previously gone to Rashee Rice. And even though that's not necessarily his primary skill set, because he's so explosive, because he moves pretty well with the ball, even though he's not a tackle breaker at all, but his acceleration and his instincts in the open field allowed him to take, things that might be a 4-yard gain, make them a 7-yard gain. Take something that might be a 7-yard gain, make it a 12-yard gain. That's how that quick game stuff works. I want to see how much how much Worthy has developed in his second year. One of the things he talked about last year, he had a decent quote where he said it took him most of the year to figure out how to practice with Patrick Mahomes. He was a full tree route runner in college, was a good collegiate route runner, but as a pro, there were things that he had to work on, and you could see some of that starting to sharpen in the latter part of last year. Everyone, I think, experiences a culture shock when they come into the NFL, especially people with a supreme talent like Xavier Worthy's speed. He's always had this easy button that he could hit, that he was, 130% faster than anyone else on the field. You go to the NFL, you're 110% faster. Still a huge advantage, but not nearly what you're used to and guys that are so much more physical, take so much better angles, have such better footwork, that you actually have to have clean footwork. Tyreek Hill didn't become an elite receiver until he became a really good route runner. And it always looked funky with him because of the way he ran, but it wasn't just raw physical speed. Tyreek Hill could have spent his whole career being a solid weapon and not an elite receiver. Deshaun Jackson, similar situation in terms of that elite speed. And that's the guy that I've always said Xavier Worthy should really model himself after him. Slight build, downfield threat, but he learned how to get open down the field. It's not that he was just out running guys. He learned how to set guys up. He learned how to run through or around contact. I want to see Worthy in a legitimate, hey, Rice is out. You show us you're better than Hollywood Brown. Show us you're better than a healthy Hollywood Brown, because the Chiefs would like, and there's no disrespect to Hollywood Brown, he's had a fine NFL career. The Chiefs want Xavier Worthy to be better than Hollywood Brown. They want him to be a legit high-level wide receiver 2 or low-level wide receiver 1 or higher. I want to see that. I want to see an increased role in quantity and quality, similar to what we saw with Rashee Rice.
And mentioning Hollywood there, obviously also, Hollywood's on a second consecutive 1-year deal as opposed to Worthy being under team control for a long time. But when you look at the other two, the two veteran receiving options who are definitely going to have roles, not just for the game, but also for the first 6 weeks and really the remainder of the season, both Hollywood and Juju Smith-Schuster are going to be involved. And I think the way the wide receiver depth chart moves with Rashee Rice leaving the picture is kind of fascinating to me. This might be relatively obvious, but you remove a number 1 receiver and everybody goes up a spot, and I'm not that excited about the wide receiver room. You have Rashee Rice, everybody else moves down a spot, and I'm thrilled about the wide receiver room, because if Worthy's your 2 and Hollywood's your 3 and Juju's your 4, and then Jalen Royals and Tyquan Thornton are getting involved kind of after that. Again, obviously Royals isn't playing against the Chargers, but that room is exciting. In the meantime, we know that Patrick Mahomes has a good relationship with Juju. We've seen that bear fruit, even as Juju lost some of the physical tools that he had earlier in his career. And I think we've got a little bit of an inkling that maybe Juju's in a better spot right now than he was this time last year and joining the team in progress. He had a whole training camp again with the team this offseason, of course. So I am very, very curious to see how they're utilized. I hear you say everybody involved wants Xavier Worthy to be the number 1 receiver in Rashee Rice's absence. But how do you want to see Hollywood and Juju used? Kind of leaving Travis Kelce out of the picture for now in terms of just talking about the wide receivers.
With Hollywood Brown, you want to see him utilized as a legit intermediate and deep level threat, the way that he was in Arizona and in Baltimore. He's got track speed. Everyone knows that. But he was always at his best working the intermediate stuff, some of the digs, some of the downfield comebacks, some of those deep outs, stuff like that. That's where he, double move type stuff. Well, not even double move, but multi-layered routes where you're looking to shake guys loose. That's where he was at his best in Arizona, especially. I want to see him utilized there. They hardly utilized him like that at all last year. Part of that being, by the time he came back, they had radically adjusted the offense to the problems that they were having on the left side. I want to see him utilized that way. Juju Smith-Schuster, I would like to see him. I already talked about Worthy being utilized for like the quick game stuff in terms of replacing Rice. He's got to do everything else. Got to do the dirty work over the middle. Got to find some gaps against zone. Got to be willing to eat some defenders in running route combinations. Got to be willing to block your tail off. Those are the things he's got to be willing to do that Worthy and Brown can't do. At least some of it. So it'll be interesting if Juju, let's say he's somehow in a similar place physically to where he was in 2022. That would be an incredible and unexpected gift for the Chiefs offense as it survives without Rashee Rice. Because again, it's so easy to forget now because so many other things, and Travis Kelce was really the number one option on that team, obviously. But Juju Smith-Schuster was wide receiver one, like unquestioned that year. And in the second half, or in the second half against the Eagles, when they needed to score basically every drive, and the Eagles were swarming Travis Kelce, it was Juju that Mahomes found multiple times. That's a big deal. He drew the penalty that got them a more sure thing in terms of running out the clock. All that stuff matters. So I would like to see him doing some of that middle of the field, shallow stuff, finding those gaps in zones, and just being reliable and being able to win a few contested catches here and there if he's up against man coverage.
I'm glad you called him a dirty work guy because it enabled me to do the outro that I was planning on. That's Seth Kaiser. I'm Joshua Briscoe. Now I kick it back to our dirty work guy, Tucker D. Franklin.
That's going to do it for 5 Things here on KC Sports Network. I'm Tucker Franklin. Thank you for listening all the way to the end of this podcast, watching all the way to the end of the video. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Again, I'm out here at Batchelder Family Farms, 2810 South Prospect out here in Belton, Missouri. Come check them out. Brad and Jenna, they will hook you up with everything you need. Go check out those KCSN Foundation bundles as well. $100 tailgate pack, $200 tailgate pack. Get you everything you need for the Chiefs home game next week and get you set up for everything this season for these tailgates. Make sure to join us after the game. We'll have a live post-game show on YouTube right when the final whistle sounds. So until then, let's go Chiefs. Let's get this dub, and we'll see you then.